And a very pleasant good afternoon and welcome baseball fans to another edition of Klamath Falls Falcons baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. We are here at the Yard at Eagle Point High School for our continuing coverage of the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament. The Klamath Falls Falcons today facing elimination against a familiar foe from their own league, the Central Point Comets. Glad to be with you today. My name is Josh Eldridge. Thank you so much for joining us on a beautiful afternoon for baseball from northern Jackson County. Both teams facing elimination today, and only one can advance to tomorrow for a shot at the Oregon State Championship. For the Central Point Comets, their road to get here, just like the Falcons began back on Wednesday. Central Point was able to grab a 1-0 win in the opening round of the tournament when they defeated the Everett Street Mechanics 1-0, and after squeaking past the Mechanics, were able to defeat Eagle Point 6-4 in their winner's bracket game. Then last night against the Eugene Ole Athletics, Eugene was able to eke out an extra innings victory over Central Point. A 4-3 final pushed Eugene to state championship contention. They will play at least one game tomorrow, and it will be for a state championship. Meantime, the Klamath Falls Falcons, their road here was a little bit more rocky. Although a convincing win on Wednesday, 13-0 against Albany, they lost to Eugene as well, 11-6. That was on day 2 of the tournament. So they had to face elimination yesterday, and they came out in a big way and defeated the Columbia Gorge Hustlers 16-1 to find themselves here for an elimination game against the Central Point Comets. These teams have played 4 times already this season as league opponents. The first meeting was a doubleheader back on June 15th. In the first game, Central Point defeated the Klamath Falls Falcons 5-3, but then that night at Kiger Stadium, the Falcons would rally back, and they would walk off the Central Point Comets 5-4 in the bottom of the 7th inning, grabbing the only win for the Falcons against the Comets this summer. When the Falcons went to Central Point to play the Comets at Anhorn Field, it was a couple of wins for Central Point. It took them 11 innings to get the job done against the Falcons the first time around. 7-6 was the final score there. A marathon of a baseball game before the final game, which wound up having very little significance towards the output of the season. Central Point defeated the Falcons in that one as well, 6-2. This was all back on Friday, just over a week ago. At that point, the Falcons thought they were facing elimination, but wound up earning an at-large bid to the state tournament due to circumstances that were out of their own control. But now their backs are against the wall against Central Point, and the same goes for the Comets, who also face elimination. The winner of this contest would advance to play tomorrow. They would have to win a couple of games to win the state championship. Again, there's one more game going on later today at the state tournament. Redmond will play Eugene. It's an elimination game for Redmond, but it's not an elimination game for Eugene. If Redmond is able to top the Ole Athletics, that Eugene squad will get a place in game number 15, which is the championship game. If Eugene is able to eliminate Redmond today, whoever wins this game would have to beat the Oles twice tomorrow to earn the Oregon State Championship, something that the Central Point Comets are accustomed to as the reigning and defending state champions at the Single-A level. As both teams are on the field right now after the starting lineups have been announced, they line the first and third base side, which means we're just about ready for the anthem this afternoon and just a few minutes away from first pitch. So we're going to step aside. And when we come back, we'll introduce you to the starting lineups for both teams on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
The cars we drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
As a parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
Josh Eldridge welcoming you back to Eagle Point High School, the site of the 2025 Oregon Single A Legion Baseball State Tournament. And you've got it right here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons facing elimination today against the Central Point Comets. Falcons entering play with a record of 32-9-1. The Central Point Comets with a record of 34-3. On the summer. As we get ready to introduce you the lineups for both teams, we'll start with our visitors today, the Central Point Comets. The home and visitor designations were decided about an hour before first pitch today via coin toss, and Coach Teeters and the Falcons take the field as they won the home side of the field. Leading off for the Central Point Comets is Mason Snopel. He is at second base. The pitcher Morgan Austin bats second. Alex Johnson is the designated hitter. He bats third, followed by Jaden Mobley, the left fielder, batting fourth. Hitting fifth is the third baseman, Zach Harrington, followed by Andy Sweet, the first baseman, hitting sixth. Batting seventh is Caleb Cornett, the shortstop. Hitting eighth is the right fielder, Michael Villarreal, and the catcher, Oren Gange, is batting ninth. He is rounding out the order for the Central Point Comets. They'll be going up against Corbin Hamilton on the mound for the Klamath Falls Falcons, and the lineup behind him goes like this. Leading off at center field is Max Price. Connor Shively bats second at shortstop, followed by Jacoby Takini, the catcher, batting third. Colin Takini's the second baseman. He bats cleanup for the Falcons. PJ Safford, the third baseman, bats fifth. Ian Meyer hits sixth. He plays at first base today. The pitcher Hamilton is batting seventh. Carson Sims is in right field. He bats eighth. And Ryan Douglas hits ninth for the Falcons. And again, they will go up against Morgan Austin on the mound for the Central Point Comets. Let's take a look at Corbin Hamilton as he wraps up his warm-up tosses out there on the season for Corbin. This will be his 13th game pitched and his 7th start of the summer. Through 33 and 2/3 innings pitched, Hamilton has allowed 20 hits and only 3 runs. He's walked 18 and he's struck out 43 batters. Hamilton has a 6-1 record for an ERA of .62. He leads the team in ERA coming into today. The Falcons have saved their ace for the most important game of the season thus far as they take on their league rival in Central Point. The Comets were the league champions this year, having beat the Falcons 3 out of the 4 opportunities they had. Central Point with a 19-1 league record, 15-4 for the Falcons. They finished runner-up in the conference. By the way, North Jackson, the third team of our league, the host for this tournament, they were eliminated last night by Redmond 3-2. We'll talk a little bit more about what happened yesterday here at the tournament, but first, it looks like we are about ready for first pitch from Eagle Point High School. Thank you again for joining us for the Oregon Single A Legion Baseball State Tournament. Mason Snopel gets ready to settle in, the leadoff hitter for the Comets, and Corbin Hamilton fires in a first pitch fastball, and that's how we get things started today. 5:03 here in northern Jackson County, 87 degrees and a beautiful sunny afternoon. Corbin Hamilton looking into Jacoby Takini, the other half of the Falcons' battery, as the pitch misses outside. The count is 1-1 to Mason Snopel, and in the times that these two teams have met throughout the season, Snopel has been an X factor for Central Point on more than one occasion. as that pitch misses upstairs. The count to him now 2-1. I mean, don't even have to look past the first game of the season series between these two guys. Snopel finished 2 for 4 with a run scored at the plate in that game, and he also pitched a complete game in the Comets' 5-3 win at Kiger Stadium earlier in the summer. 7 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs. He struck out 7 batters. And right now he's ahead in the count 3-1 against Corbin Hamilton. That pitch from Hamilton missed upstairs, so a 5-pitch walk is how we get things started today as Mason Snopel finds himself at first base. This will bring up Morgan Austin, the starting pitcher for the Comets. Gets a chance to swing the stick before he gets on the mound. Morgan Austin has pitched against the Falcons already this season, but want to save that for when he actually takes the mound later on. At the plate throughout the summer against the Falcons, though, Morgan Austin has had one standout performance, and it was in the final game of the season between these two teams. Back on Friday of last week, Johnson finished 2 for 3 with an RBI. Here he takes strike 1 in around the knees. Around the diamond for the Klamath Falls Falcons, P.J. Safford plays third, Connor Shively at short, Colin Takini plays second with Ian Meyer at first. In the outfield, it's Douglas, Price, and Sims from left to right. Another move over to first, a good throw by Hamilton, the tag applied by Meyer, but back safely is Mason Snopel. Again, he reached on a walk a moment ago. And after Morgan Austin in the order, it's Alex Johnson for the Central Point Comets. In white from head to toe today with Comets written across their chest in orange bold text and a black outline. A hit and run executed to perfection for Central Point. Poked it right into right field. Rounding second and headed for third is Snopel, and the throw into the infield is a wild one. Snopel is going to score, and Austin is going to wind up at second. Central Point is on the board here in the top of the first inning, and they lead 1-0. They will leave that runner in scoring position, and it'll bring up Alex Johnson. Like I said, it was a hit and run for Snopel, and it took Takini out of position. Was able to get a base hit into right field, and then the throw in from right was unable to be cut off properly, allowing Snopel to score. So no RBI for Austin, but we will give him the single and advancing to second on the error. Regardless, Central Point leads 1-0, and now in steps Alex Johnson, the designated hitter, batting from the left side. Modest lead off of second for Morgan Austin, not much to speak of as Hamilton comes set. Another half step off of second for Austin. Hamilton delivers home. This one is another ground ball into left field this time, and it's a base hit. The throw in from left is going to stop Austin at third, but it will put runners at the corners, still with nobody out in the top of the first inning. In steps now Jaden Mobley for the Central Point Comets. Oh, pardon me. We're going to see someone else. It looks like, well, let's see. We had Mobley in the starting lineup. Things must have changed about a half hour before first pitch. Let's see. Here's the pitch. It's going to miss. It looks like it is Zach Harrington batting now for Central Point. I wonder if they are hitting for Mobley in the order, and I misread how they wrote it down. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one is going to miss low. The count is now 2-0. So I had Zach Harrington in the 5-hole, but here he is batting as the cleanup hitter. Pitch on the way from Hamilton. It's a check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. The count is 2 balls and a strike to Harrington, the starting third baseman for Central Point today. And it looks like I was off on their lineup by about a half step, so we'll recorrect that as we go along. The 1-2 pitch is a check swing again, and down on strikes. This time goes Zach Harrington for the first out in the first inning. This will bring up Andy Sweet, batting in the 5-hole for Central Point. Timeout is called by the Klamath Falls Falcons as Coach Craig Connor comes on out of the dugout. It'll give us a quick moment to remind you that today's broadcast on mybasin.com is brought to you in part by the Pacific Power Foundation, who in 2024 donated over $70,000 to various organizations in the basin, like the Oregon Tech Foundation, the UC Davis Foundation, and the Ross Ragland Theater. And a big thanks to Pacific Power for coming on board for this season of Falcons baseball. So it looks like be Harrington, then Sweet, then Cornett, then Villarreal, and the catcher Guin, and then Carson Noche is going to be batting ninth for Central Point. That's at least best I can figure, as the lineup was written kind of in a strange manner. So I'll try and make that correction as we move along throughout the broadcast. But what we do know is that Andy Sweet, the starting first baseman, is at the plate now. Hamilton set to deliver to Sweet. And the pitch, it's going to miss outside. The count is 1-0. Quite a few left-handed hitters in this Central Point order. And we have time called. There was still music coming in from upstairs. Had to get that sorted out. And now it looks like we are ready to go with Andy Sweet in a 1-0 count. One out and runners at the corners in a 1-0 ball game. Sweet pops that one foul. And the count is a ball and a strike. Sweet showing bunt. The delivery from Hamilton. Lays it down. Hamilton's going to go home with it. The tag applied by Tacchini is in time. And the Falcons cut down the lead runner in that situation. And there are now two outs with runners at first and second. And it will bring up Caleb Cornett for Central Point. Cornett also bats from the left side for Central Point. Like I said, something just a little bit of a wrinkle to their order that the Falcons might not otherwise be used to. A lot of left-handed hitters is one of the reasons why this offense is so dynamic for Central Point and why they won so many ball games. First pitch missed outside. The count is 1-0 to Cornett. Hamilton checks on the runner at second. That's Johnson. Now the pitch. It's a ground ball to Safford at third. He's going to take it to the bag himself, and that will end the inning. One run does come across, though, for Central Point. They get it on 2 base hits, and they leave a couple men stranded. They lead 1-0 as we go to the bottom half of the first next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
Getting set for the bottom of the first inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. After the top of the first, the Central Point Comets lead 1-0, but the Falcons will have their first chance against Morgan Austin. Morgan Austin has pitched a couple of times against the Falcons so far this summer and has one win against them. This came back in the extra innings victory for Central Point back on July 18th. Austin pitched in relief in that contest, but worked 5 innings, giving up only 4 hits. He only struck out 2 batters, but that's all he needed to do, facing 19 without allowing a run and picking up his 4th win of the summer. Again, back on Friday of last week. He pitched one other time against the Falcons during the summer, but didn't pick up a decision either way. He got the start in the Falcons' extra innings walk-off victory back on June 15th. Austin started that game 5 2/3 innings pitched, giving up 10 hits, 4 runs. Although just one of them were earned, he struck out 4 batters. And the first pitch is going to miss to Max Price. The count is 1-0. Price has had a strong tournament thus far as he awaits the 1-0 pitch. That one misses below the knees. The count is 2-0. Yesterday, Max Price was 1 for 2 with an RBI and 2 runs scored. That time, pitch called a strike. The count is now 2-1 to Price. Also scored a run in the team's opener. That was against West Albany. Count now 2-2 to Max Price. He'll be followed in the Falcons order by Connor Shively and then Jacoby Takini. Morgan Austin delivers the 2-2 pitch. It's a sharp grounder foul down the third base line. Count will remain 2-2. Oren Ginge, the catcher for Central Point, will introduce you to the rest of the defense after this at-bat with Max Price. The 2-2, again, is a ground ball back up the middle, through into center field, and a leadoff single for the Falcons in the bottom of their first inning, and it'll bring up Connor Shively. Around the diamond for Central Point, Harrington is at third, Cornett's at short, Snopel at second with Sweet at first. In the outfield from left to right, it's Mobley, Noche, and Villarreal. All right, here's Connor Shively. Bats here with a runner aboard at first and nobody out. Corner comes in trying to protect the bunt against Shively. The middle infield at double play depth as the pitcher Austin checks on the runner at first, but Price is back safely. Yesterday, Connor Shively was 1 for 4 with a couple of runs scored against the Columbia Gorge Hustlers. Back in the opening game of the tournament, Shively was 1 for 3 with an RBI. Pitch called a strike to Shively in the first pitch of the at-bat. A slider crept back over the plate, and Austin uses it to get ahead in an 0-1 count. Looks in and gets the sign as Shively settles back into the left-handed batter's box. Another move over to first, and again, Price back safely. Shively had one standout game against Central Point in the regular season, a 2 for 3 outing with an extra base hit in the first game of the summer between these two squads. Here, Shively lays down a bunt. Austin, the pitcher, is able to come up with it and throw Shively out at first, but Price does advance into scoring position. He represents the tying run in the bottom of the first inning, and it brings up Jacoby Takini. Jacoby Takini might have been one of the lone bright spots in the Falcons order in games against Central Point earlier this year. You look back to the final meeting between these two teams in the regular season. Jacoby Takini went 2 for 3. He was the only Falcon to collect more than one base hit in that game that the Falcons lost 6-2. Here, Takini swings and misses and winds up behind in the count 0-1. Price with a fairly aggressive lead off of second base. Second baseman Snopel trying to pat the leather, keep him honest over there as Takini sends a ground ball through the left side of the infield and into a single as Price will be held up at third. Good decision there as Mobley got the ball in quickly from left. It puts runners at the corners now with still just one out. And it looks like Chase Barrett is going to come in and run for Jacoby, as has been customary this season. And it brings up Colin Takini, the cleanup hitter, with the tying run at third and the go-ahead run on base in the bottom of the first inning. Colin Takini looking to continue a great state tournament thus far. Look no further than yesterday when Colin was 3 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs scored. Now an early golden opportunity to try to tie this game in the first inning. Pitch on the way from Morgan Austin. It'll miss upstairs. The count is 1-0. After Colin in the Falcons order, it's P.J. Safford. Colin has had some success against Central Point during the summer as well, as he looks in against Morgan Austin. Colin was 2 for 6 in the extra innings win against the Comets back in Klamath Falls early in June. Count is a ball and a strike right now to Takini. Looks in and gets the sign as Colin steps back into the box. Not much of a lead off of first for Barrett, but Austin will take a look at him before coming set. And the 1-1 pitch will have to wait. They check on Barrett over at first. Barrett's a threat to go. They like to send him in situations like this, although he's been caught stealing the most on the team this year. The 1-1 pitch on the way to Colin Takini is an off-speed pitch that graces the outside corner. There goes Barrett, but no throw down. And the Falcons now have 2 men in scoring position with 1 man out, but a 2-strike count to Colin Takini at the plate. Colin this summer bats .352, has 38 runs batted in. Here's the delivery from Morgan Austin, now working out of the windup with nobody on at first, and this pitch dips below the zone, maybe a touch outside as well. The count is now 2 balls and 2 strikes to the second baseman from Lakeview High School. Delivery on its way to Takini is sliced foul out of play behind the first base side, and the count will remain. Central Point did a good job of manufacturing their run in the first inning. They were aided by 1 Falcons error, but Klamath Falls looking to answer the call here in the bottom half of the same inning. The 2-2 pitch. That's hit in the air towards left center field. That is going to be over the head of the left fielder, Mobley, and a run will score. 2 runs will score as Barrett scores from second, and a 2 RBI base hit for Colin Takini makes it 2-0 Falcons in the bottom of the first inning. Now a chance for P.J. Safford as the Falcons have claimed the lead. Safford on the season bats .336 for the Falcons. Yesterday against Columbia Gorge, Safford finished 0 for 2, but got the start on the mound. Didn't earn the win, but threw 25 pitches, so that way he could be eligible for whenever the Falcons want to use him again. Safford pitched an inning and 2/3, giving up 1 hit and striking out 3 of the 5 outs that he got in that outing. And after a check on Colin at first, now it looks as though Austin is ready to deliver home. On the move is Takini. Ground ball up the middle. It's going to be fielded by the second baseman on the other side of the bag as Snopel was coming to cover the base on the hit and run. They're able to get Safford at first, but Takini is safe at second. So now a man in scoring position for Ian Meyer with 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning of a 2-1 ball game. Meyer steps in. Yesterday, Meyer finished 1 for 1 with an RBI. Here's the delivery to Ian. It's going to drift away. The count is 1-1. After Meyer, in the Falcons' order, is their pitcher, Corbin Hamilton. Austin looking in, agrees with the sign delivered by his catcher, and the 1-0. They're worried about the runner at second, Takini, but the pitch home is bounced back out towards second base. Snopel up with it, throws on to first to end the inning, but the Falcons score a pair of runs in the bottom of the first inning. They use 3 base hits to get there, and they leave a man stranded. They lead 2-1 as we go to the second next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
MyBasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
It is the top of the second inning at the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament on 104.3 and 960 Sports. The Klamath Falls Falcons lead the Central Point Comets 2-1. Due up this half inning for Central Point is the bottom third of their order. Michael Villarreal, Oren Gange, and Carson Noche. Right fielder, catcher, and center fielder for the boys in orange. As Corbin Hamilton gets ready for the second inning of his start. The pitch home is going to miss high and away. Count is 1-0. The Central Point Comets, much like the Klamath Falls Falcons, facing elimination today at the Single-A State Tournament. As the 1-0 pitch is called a strike. The count is 1-1. Last year, the Comets took a similar path to the Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament. They are the defending champions as the 1-1 pitch misses outside. The count is 2-1. You take a look at last season. Central Point won their opening game against the Bend area team 5-3, advanced in the winner's bracket for a 10-0 win against Tigard last year. But in game number 11, the same game in which they lost in this season, they ran into Redmond and fell 5-1. Then they had to battle for 3 straight games to earn an Oregon State championship as the 3-1 pitch home from Hamilton is popped into the air towards the left side. Douglas giving chase to the foul line and makes the catch near foul territory for the first out. Douglas had to run a long way, and he lost his hat trying to track that one down. But there's one gone in the second inning. Oren Gange getting ready to bat now for Central Point, but wanted to complete my thought. Last year, with their backs up against the wall, Saturday of the tournament, same place where we are today, they won an elimination game against Eugene, won that game 6-2. Here's a ground ball to third. Safford's going to throw on to first. Meyer had to leap for it, but came down on the bag. There are quickly 2 gone in the second inning. Brings up Carson Noche, the number 9 hitter for Central Point. After defeating Eugene a season ago, they ran into Tigard for the second time in the tournament, edged out a win against them 2-1, and then in the championship game had no problem dealing with Redmond a season ago, beat the Builders 11-2 to claim the state championship and advance on to the Single-A Regional in Montana. As the first pitch missed low, the count is 1-0 to Noche as Hamilton delivers the pitch. That one misses high and in. The count is now 2-0 to the number 9 hitter in the order. Carson Noche is going to be class of 2029 for Crater High School. The youngest player on their team has yet to even begin his freshman year. As the 2-0 pitch finds the outside corner, 2-1. He's the youngest player on the field today. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Hamilton as that one dips below the zone. The count's 3-1. And one other game going on today. The winner here will advance to play either Redmond or Eugene as that pitch misses low and a walk delivered to Carson Noche brings us back to the top of the Central Point order for Mason Snopel. If Redmond wins, it will be Eugene that makes it to the state championship game number 15. If Eugene wins, the winner of this game will play Eugene in game number 14 tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. The pitch into Snopel misses low. The count is 1-0. Snopel walked and came around to score the opening run of the ball game back in the top of the first inning. Now an opportunity to try to keep a 2-out rally alive for his team in the second, now trailing by a run against the Klamath Falls Falcons. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Hamilton. That's a knee-high fastball in the zone for strike 1. After Snopel in the Central Point order is Morgan Austin. Third base coach for Central Point delivering the signs into Snopel. He settles back into the right-handed batter's box as Hamilton comes set. Extra half-step lead off of first for Noche. They check on him over there, but he's back safely. He's not taken a real aggressive primary lead, just about 3 steps off the bag, but I think what they're worried about potentially is that secondary lead, especially with the new set of signs coming in down from the third base coach. Delivery on the way. It's a slider that misses beneath the zone. The count moves to 2-1 to Mason Snopel. He will be a senior next year for Crater High School, looking to help them make it another step further into the 5A OSAA playoffs. Talk a little bit more about that as we move throughout the broadcast as the 2-1 pitch misses low, 3-1. So after 2 quick outs to start the inning, Hamilton walked the number 9 batter and is in danger of walking the leadoff hitter, still with 2 outs in the top of the second inning. Hamilton, he's going to offer up a challenge pitch here to Mason Snopel as he comes set. And the delivery is a fastball knee-high on the outside corner. Hamilton painting the black to make it full. Runner at first, Noche will be on the move in a full count with 2 outs. There's going to be lots of movement in the infield. Meyer's going to abandon him and play first base straight away. Here's the delivery from Corbin Hamilton. Takes a deep breath, kicks, and delivers. The pitch gets away from Tacchini, and with Noche on the move, has a head start. He's going to round second and head for third, and he gets in there. And it will be runners at the corners now for Morgan Austin. Back-to-back 2-out walks for Hamilton, and now the Falcons in danger of giving up the lead as the tying run stands 90 feet away in the top of the second inning. Morgan Austin is 1 for 1 today. Jacoby Tacchini going to head out and have a conversation with his pitcher before the start of this at-bat. Like I said, Austin, he singled and would later be left stranded at third base in the first inning. But now looking to drive in a runner from third base and tie this ball game, or a ball in the gap could see them take the lead with Snopel on first. We'll see if they've got him on the move as the first pitch is on its way home. It is an outside 2-seam fastball called a strike. Started off the plate but then broke back across the outside portion. The count moves to 0-1 to Morgan Austin. He is also class of 26 for Crater High School. Will be a senior next year. Hamilton delivers the 0-1. That is in the dirt, and the count is even now at a ball and a strike. Well, like I've said all tournament long, pitch counts can sometimes become a factor this late in the season, but ultimately with how few games are potentially left in the schedule, I would think Hamilton's going to be fully unleashed today. No worries about where his pitch count will lie, even though he's had to work hard in these first couple of innings, about to fire his 37th pitch. He's still going to be in good shape moving forward. I don't think it's something that Falcons fans have to worry about. But right now the count is 1-2 to Morgan Austin. Runners at the corners and 2 outs in a 1-run ball game. Hamilton is going to step off before the pitch is delivered. Jacoby Tacchini steps out from behind home plate and points down the first base side to the runner who occupies first, Mason Snopel. Hamilton comes set now after Tacchini resumes his position behind home plate. The runner is on the move. The pitch is lined over behind first base, but it goes foul. And so Austin will have to do it again in a 1-2 count, but Snopel was on the move on a 1-2 pitch. I think Jacoby might have seen something that the rest of us didn't on that previous offering. We'll see if they end up putting Snopel in motion again on the 1-2 pitch. Hamilton looks in. Tacchini gives the target. Huge lead off of first for Snopel. Here's the pitch. Snopel's on the move. The pitch home is a ball. Knee-high slider over the plate but missed the zone. And the count is now 2-2 to Morgan Austin. Big pitch to take there in a 2-strike count. I don't think I'd be able to lay off of it. But now there's 2 runners on in a 2-2 count with 2 outs in a 2-run ball game in the top of the second inning. And Corbin Hamilton kicks and delivers, and he misses upstairs. The count's 3-2. Tried to drop in a curveball, it looked like, but it didn't break enough. On deck for Central Point is Alex Johnson. He's been watching this at-bat, hoping for a chance with runners in scoring position. But first, he's got to have Austin come through for him. The 3-2 is poked over the head of the first baseman down into right field. It's going to score a run. Snopel gets the green light. He will score. They cut in the infield to try and get Austin sliding into second, but he's in safely. And a 2 RBI double with 2 outs makes it a 3-2 game in favor of the Comets. And a 2-out rally, the only way you can hope for it. Hamilton offered up 2 walks, and the Comets take advantage. And Morgan Austin is now 2 for 2 with 2 RBI, and his team has the lead. Alex Johnson singled in the first inning, so 1 for 1 today. He's trying to pad his team's lead with an extra insurance run, standing in scoring position. Hamilton comes set. Takes a look at the runner at second. That's Austin, and now the pitch home. It's going to be a 2-seamer that misses outside. The count is 1-0. Hamilton hasn't pitched at all against Central Point really this season. Only has pitched an inning against them this summer. First time they've seen him, the Comets are getting to him early. The 1-0 pitch on the way from the right-hander. That one's hit in the air towards left field. Douglas gets underneath it, puts that one away for the 3rd out, but Central Point reclaims the lead. Up 3-2 after 2-run score on the 2 RBI double from Morgan Austin. Back after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Time to reclaim your health and your autonomy. At Heartfelt OBGYN, they focus on you. Their evidence-based approach to care means fewer office visits and a targeted treatment plan to directly address your specific needs. They believe in solutions for their patients, not the industry's profit margin. The providers at Heartfelt OBGYN are committed to serving the community and giving back to the basin. Find them at heartfeltobgyn.com. Heartfelt, because you deserve to be in control of your body and your informed choices.
At Eisler Group, they are confident that their tax and accounting professionals are experienced and trained like no one else. From individual, corporate, partnership, estate, trust, Eisler Group stands ready to help you with all of your financial, tax, and accounting needs. They have been in Klamath Falls for nearly 60 years, raising their families here and being part of the community. The Eisler Group can be found at eislerkf.com. That's ISLERKF.com. eislerkf.com.
Josh Eldridge welcoming you back to the yard at Eagle Point High School for our continuing coverage of the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. In the bottom of the second inning, Central Point leads 3-2 against the Klamath Falls Falcons after scoring 2 runs in the top half of this inning to retake the lead. It'll be the bottom third of the Falcons' order due up this inning. It's Corbin Hamilton, Carson Sims, and Ryan Douglas. Hamilton, for his part, after surrendering those runs on the mound, he'll look to help his team get them back. First pitch on the way from Morgan Austin as he kicks and delivers. Hamilton checks his swing, but a nice slider catches most of the zone, and Hamilton falls behind 0-1. On the season, Corbin this year is hitting .350. Gets a piece of that one, but fouls it off. The count is 0-2. Hamilton with 42 hits this season, puts him towards the top of the team in that metric. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Hamilton pops one up, could have room in foul territory, but they run out of room. It lands safely out of play. Hamilton is gifted new life, still down in the count 0-2 with, again, Carson Sims waiting on deck. Yesterday, Hamilton finished 1 for 2 with a run scored and an RBI against Columbia Gorge. And even in his team's loss against Eugene, 11-6, back on Thursday of the tournament, Hamilton could make a case for being the lone real bright spot in the order, going 2 for 3 with 3 runs scored in that game. The count to him now is a ball and 2 strikes. Hamilton rips that one into left field. It gets down in foul territory. And Hamilton will round first and head back to home. After that foul ball, we'll do it again in a 1-2 count. Against Central Point this season, as we look at some performances for Hamilton, was hitless through the first couple of meetings with these teams, but When the games moved over to Central Point, Hamilton was instrumental, going 3 for 5 with a couple of runs scored in the Falcons' extra innings lost. But here he takes a look at strike 3 in around the knees and goes down looking as the first out in the second inning. Brings up Carson Sims for the Klamath Falls Falcons, getting the start in right field today. Sims bats from the right side for the Falcons. Yesterday, against Columbia Gorge, Sims finished 1 for 4 with an RBI. As he fouls that one back, the count is 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way to Sims. That one misses outside. Sims has had hits in all but one game against the Central Point Comets this year, including a 3 for 5 outing in one of the games in Central Point. Here he lifts a shallow fly ball to right field, but Villarreal is able to move over and make the catch by the foul line for the second out in the second inning, and this will bring up Ryan Douglas. Douglas, the number 9 hitter in the Falcons order. Yesterday, Douglas was 0 for 1, didn't get the start, came in as a pinch hitter in that contest. As Morgan Austin gets ready to deliver the first pitch to Douglas. It's first pitch swinging, and he rips one foul. And the count moves to 0-1. If Douglas finds a way to get on base, lineup card turns over for Max Price on deck. Here's the delivery to Douglas. That one is called a strike on the inside corner, and Douglas down 0-2. Falcons trail by a run in the bottom of the second inning. There's 2 outs. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Ryan Douglas. It is hit in the air in the infield. The second baseman, Mason Snopel, over a couple of steps to tuck that one away for the final out. The Falcons down in order in the second, and they trail by a run heading to the third next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
We drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys, and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
Top of the third inning, and the Central Point Comets lead the Klamath Falls Falcons 3-2. It'll be the middle of the Central Point order going to work against Corbin Hamilton. Here is Zach Harrington. Pitch on the way to Harrington is going to miss inside, maybe a touch high as well. The count is 1-0 to the Comets' third baseman. Harrington 0 for 1 in this contest, though. He struck out in the first inning. Hamilton misses up high to him for the second straight pitch. The count 2-0, and Takini comes out to have a chat with Hamilton real briefly. Hamilton, I think, a little bit frustrated with himself. You could see in the body language after he threw the 1-0 pitch, and he saw Takini pop out of the stance. I think he's a little bit frustrated, but throwing angry could be something that doesn't really work against you if you're able to place that pitch. The problem for Hamilton has been the walks, though. He's walked 3 guys in this game, and each of them have come around to score. And the 2-0 pitch is going to miss high as well. Now the count is 3-0. He walked Snopel in the first inning, and he came around to score. He walked Snopel again in the second, and Nose in the second, and both of those guys came around to score as well. As the 3-0 pitch is a knee-high fastball called a strike. The count now 3-1. After Harrington in the order, it's Andy Sweet. The delivery from Corbin is going to miss wide, and a leadoff walk in the top of the third inning is going to put Zach Harrington on base. So now it's Andy Sweet at the plate. Sweet is 0 for 1 today. Although he did reach base, it was on a fielder's choice in the first inning. He tried to lay down a bunt to score a run, but they wound up getting the lead runner at home, but Sweet reached base anyway. Now they're protecting the bunt again against Andy Sweet, and a two-seam fastball running away from the left-hander is called a strike. Might have been an inch or two off the plate, but Hamilton gets away with one to get ahead in the count, 0-1. After Sweet in the order, it's Caleb Cornett. Sweet showing bunt after the first strike gets across. The 0-1's going to miss upstairs. They try to backpick the runner at first, but back safely is Harrington. And the count is even now at a ball and a strike to the left-handed hitting first baseman for Central Point. Andy Sweet is going to be a junior next year at Crater High School. Sweet again showing bunt, pulls back in time and sends a bouncer out towards second base. Took a tough hop on Takini, takes away the opportunity at a double play, but he takes the easy route to first and at least gets Sweet. Advancing to second, though, was Zach Harrington, now into scoring position with one out in the top of the third inning, and in steps Caleb Cornett. Cornett is 0 for 1 in the ball game. He grounded out to end the first inning. Again, Safford in on the grass, protecting against the bunt. The left-handed hitting Cornett stares down Hamilton as he comes together. Takes a look at the big lead off of second for Zach Harrington, and the pitch home. It's a two-seam fastball that just misses off the plate. The count is 1-0. After Cornett in the order, it's Michael Villarreal. The left-hander chokes up a little bit on the bat, ahead in the count 1-0 against Hamilton. Here's the pitch. Another two-seam fastball and another miss off the plate outside, 2-0. Central Point this year finishing with a 17-10 record in the prep season as Crater High School, 14-4 in the 5A Midwestern League. They were the number 7 team coming into the OSAA state playoffs. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Cornett. Ground ball out to Takini. Has trouble coming up with it. Recovers to throw onto first, but it's not in time, and an error is going to allow Harrington to reach third and Cornett to reach first. Runners at the corners still with just one out, and it will bring up Michael Villarreal. Villarreal today 0 for 1, flew out to left field to start the second inning, but now an RBI opportunity with his team up 3-2 and only one out in the top of the third inning of this elimination game at the Oregon Single A Legion Baseball State Tournament. We'll see if they've got Cornett on the move as Hamilton comes set and delivers the pitch. There goes the runner at first. The pitch is low. The throw down to second is going to be in time, and they got Cornett stealing. And Harrington stays at third. And so that changes the complexion of this inning in a big way. Now with 2 outs, that pitch was called a strike to Villarreal as well. Big pitch on the way for Hamilton, now able to work out of the windup again with the runner at third. The 0-1, he drops in a curveball for a strike. The count moves to 0-2. If Villarreal finds a way to get on base, it's the catcher, Ginge. Here's Hamilton again, the 0-2. It's going to miss in the dirt, but Takini keeps it in front of him. The young Gold Glove catcher for the Falcons is going to keep that runner at third as the count moves to 1-2. Villarreal steps back in. Hamilton with the 1-2. It is looked at for ball 2. It starts off the outside and then breaks beneath the zone, and the count runs even. Harrington, who stands at third, walked to lead off the inning. Here's the 2-2. Hit weakly to third. Meyer gloves it, takes it to the bag himself, and that will put it away in the third inning. And they leave a runner stranded at third, but carry a 1-run lead to the bottom of the third. Central Point in front of Klamath Falls 3-2 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
Bottom of the third inning, and the Central Point Comets lead the Klamath Falls Falcons 3-2 at the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament, an elimination game for the Falcons and Central Point. Only one team can move on to Championship Sunday tomorrow here at the Yard. The Falcons need a run here in the bottom of the third inning, and they'll lead off with Max Price. He'll be followed by Connor Shively and Jacoby Takini. That's the top of the order. Getting a look at Morgan Austin the second time through. All right, looks like we're about ready to go as Price settles in. Max is 1 for 1 on the day so far. He singled in the first inning and scored a run. Here he takes a look at a pitch that dips below the zone. The count is 1-0. On the season, Max Price is batting .343 at the top of the order for the Falcons. He's got 11 extra base hits, which is third most on the team, tied for third most on the team. He takes an inside fastball for a strike. The count is even now to Max. It was just a single his last time around, but again was able to make it around the base paths and in for a run. Here's a line drive back up the middle through to center field, much like the first base hit he had, taking it right back where it came from, and Price is on board to lead off the third inning. Connor Shively, a chance to swing away now for the Falcons. The left-handed batter is without an official at-bat today. He laid down a sacrifice bunt in the first inning, and it was worthwhile as the runner would eventually come in and score, and now he stands at first. It's Max Price again. We'll see if it's a similar action for the Falcons here in the third inning, much like it was in the first. They take a look over at Max Price, but he slides back safely. And now Shively ready for the delivery. Sends a hard ground ball to first that's off the shoe of Sweet and into right field. Price is going to round second and head for third. And he's in there safely as that ball just shot right off the foot of Andy Sweet, launched right up into the air, and wound up in right field. Shively on first. Price goes all the way to third, and there's still nobody out in the third inning for the Falcons. Let's see if they wind up calling that a hit or an error. It looks like that's going to go in as a hit for Connor Shively, at least best I can tell. So back-to-back singles to begin the third inning for the Falcons, and in steps Jacoby Takini. Set is Austin, and the delivery to Jacoby. He'll watch one dip below the zone. The count is 1-0. Jacoby singled his first time up, and when he was courtesy ran for by Chase Barrett, Chase would come in to score in the bottom of the first inning. At the time, it helped the Falcons take a 2-1 lead. But now they see that one-run advantage flipped around the other way where they trail by one, but the tying run stands at third with the go-ahead runner at first. They'll go ahead and check on Shively at first, but he dives back safely. As Jacoby Takini, the right-handed hitting catcher, steps back into the box. Austin set and the delivery. It's going to miss wide. Count moves to 2-0 now to Jacoby with Colin Takini waiting on deck. On the season, Jacoby batting .362. He is second on the team in RBI with 40 on the season. Modest lead off of first for Shively. Nothing much to speak of as Austin comes set with the 2-0. Here's the pitch. Shively on the move. Pitch misses outside. They throw down to third to try and backpick Price, but he was back to the base before the throw got down there. And it will put two runners in scoring position now for Jacoby Takini. Still nobody out in a 2-1 count. Austin now able to work out of the windup, though, and time is called at the plate. I think time is called by the catcher, and they're actually going to intentionally walk Jacoby Takini. And so that will load the bases for the cleanup hitter, looking to do just that. With nobody out in the third inning, Colin Takini will bat here as Chase Barrett replaces Jacoby down at first. Colin had an RBI single his last time up in the first inning. Colin Takini with 38 RBI on the season. He also bats .352 on the summer. Austin, still working out of the windup, will step off before the first offering to Colin Takini. Big spot here nearing the halfway point of the ball game. The pitch to Colin is an off-speed pitch, and he swings and misses at that one. The count is 0-1. That looked like a hanger that Takini wanted to take advantage of, but I think his eyes just got too big, and he swung over the top of it. Now behind in the count, 0-1. Have to be a little bit more patient as he watches that pitch miss outside. The count is even now at a ball and a strike to the cleanup hitting second baseman for the Falcons. On deck, hoping for a chance with some runners on, is P.J. Safford. Although more than that, I'm sure he'd love to see Colin come up with an RBI hit here to help the Falcons not only tie the game, but potentially take the lead. But Takini swings and misses at that same breaking ball that they used a couple of pitches ago, now to get ahead 1-2. Colin settles back into the box, chokes up on the bat a little bit, keeps his hands in around the letters as he readies for the pitch. Austin shakes off the first sign he gets, but now is agreeable as that pitch misses outside. The count is 2-2. Looked like a two-seam fastball from Austin that he tried to place off the outside corner, but it didn't catch enough of the plate, and Takini sticks around in this at-bat. The 2-2 again from Austin. Takini sends a ground ball to third. It's off the glove of Harrington. He's not able to recover. Everybody's safe, and we're tied at 3. As Price comes in to score, Shively moves to third, Barrett up to second, and Colin Takini reaching there, bringing up P.J. Safford. Safford 0 for 1 in the ball game, but with nobody out and the bases loaded, a golden opportunity to give his team a lead. Here's the pitch from to Safford. He watches a two-seam fastball catch the inside corner. The count is 0-1. Safford was 3 for 3 yesterday after a less than ideal performance against Eugene the day before. Atoned for his wrongs and is now trying to give his team a lead in this elimination game as he watches that pitch miss outside. The count's even at 1. On deck after PJ is Ian Meyer in the Falcons order. Safford settles back in, a .336 hitter. Safford has 37 RBI this season. The 1-1 is going to hit P.J. Safford, and the Falcons have the lead. They're up 4-3. As Shively scores, Barrett moves to third, Colin moves to second, and Safford now aboard at first. And we'll have a conference here between Central Point coach and the home plate umpire. And we'll have the infield come in for Central Point as well. We'll see if they wind up making a change. And we're going to have the umpires come together. Not exactly sure what for, but it'll give us a moment to, again, recognize some of the sponsors that make today's broadcast possible on mybasin.com. Sponsors like Gino's Cafe and Sports Bar on East Main Street, open every morning at 6:30, serving their famous breakfast burritos. Those are served all day long, along with other menu items like burgers, monthly specials, and Italian favorites. You can order online at iloveginos.com or have it brought right to you on DoorDash. Also want to give a shout-out to God's Gifts Photography, who's been taking photos for us during the prep season on mybasin.com. If you're a parent of a high school athlete tired of trying to take good photos and keep up with the action, be sure to reach out to God's Gifts Photographers on Facebook and have them take pictures of your kids today. And they took some great pictures for us during the prep season. Big shout-out to God's Gifts Photography, and check them out, God's Gifts 2. On Facebook. I think they were talking down there about whether or not that pitch actually hit PJ, and they decided that, it did. So a run scores and a fresh count to Ian Meyer, still with the bases loaded. Meyer will take a pitch outside. The count is 1-0. So PJ's at first. Colin Takini's at second. Chase Barrett's at third. Already 2 runs home this inning for the Falcons, and they lead 4-3 in this elimination contest. The 1-0 pitch is offered up at and missed by Meyer. The count goes even at a ball and a strike. Ian Meyer on the season is batting .346 for the Falcons. Here's the pitch. It is hit into the air, shallow right field. Villarreal coming in, makes the catch. Tagging from third is Barrett. The throw in is in time, and a great throw in from the outfield will get Barrett. And it will keep things a one-run ball game here in the bottom of the third inning. Everybody else advances, though. Colin to third, PJ to second, as Barrett was out on that play. It's a double play, pardon me. And in steps Corbin Hamilton. Hamilton 0 for 1 today, struck out his first time up. As Austin gets back on the rubber again, still 2 men in scoring position. Pitch on the way from Austin, still working from the windup. It's a curve ball that is lifted into center field, should be playable. It's actually the right fielder who's going to come in, and Villarreal makes back-to-back catches to end things in the third. But the Falcons take the lead as they're up 4-3, and we head to the fourth next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Getting set for the top of the fourth inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on MyBasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons lead the Central Point Comets 4-3. For the Falcons so far, 4 runs for them comes on 6 hits and 2 errors. They have left 3 men on base. For Central Point, 3 runs comes on 3 hits for them. They've committed 1 error and left 4 runners on base. As Corbin Hamilton still on the start for the Falcons, getting ready for his 4th inning. It'll be Oren Ginge, it'll then be Carson Nosey and Mason Snopel, the 3 men up for Central Point in this half inning. It's 8, 9, and 1 in the order. Hamilton trying to keep his team in front. He surrendered 1 run in the first and 2 more in the second before blanking Central Point in the third. Looking for more of that action here as the first pitch he uses to get ahead is a fastball 0-1. The catcher Ginge 0 for 1 today. He grounded out back in the second inning. Here's the pitch from Hamilton. A foul ball behind us. Count 0-2. Central Point Comets, the Crater Comets, have been a mainstay at the top of the rankings and in the state tournament picture for the better part of 20 years now here in Southern Oregon. As the 0-2 pitch dips below the zone. The count is 1-2, headed up by head coach Jay Campbell. He took over the Central Point program in 2006, and it didn't take him long at all to earn his first state championship, putting together a 24-5 record in 2007 and leading Crater to a state championship in 2007, and he would do it again in 2018. The count is now 2 balls and 2 strikes at the plate as Hamilton delivers from the windup. The pitch is hit into the air towards left center field. Price makes the catch, and that'll be the first out in the 4th inning. Carson Nosey, a chance to swing now for the Comets. He walked and scored in the 2nd inning. So without an official at-bat today, the young man attending Crater next year will have a chance with 1 out and the bases empty against the veteran All-State pitcher in the person of Corbin Hamilton. The delivery on the way from Corbin is dropped in for a strike. Looked like a slider, maybe a curveball, something with a little bit of movement, but it was a knee-high strike to get ahead of the number 9 hitter. Here's the delivery to Nosey. Ground ball to third. Safford knocks it down, recollects. The throw on to first is in time, and there are 2 gone now in the top of the 4th inning. Good job by Safford to stick with that ball. He knocked it down. It skipped away from him, but was able to pick it up and make a strong throw to Meyer at first for the second out. And now we're back to the top of the order for Central Point. It's Mason Snopel. Snopel today is without Nat Bat, although this is his 3rd time up. He's walked twice and scored twice. Here, a knee-high fastball is called a strike against Snopel. Snopel's given the Falcons trouble many a time this summer, not only at the plate but also on the mound. He's picked up a couple of wins against the Falcons this season on the hill, and he's hit them well, although here he's down in the count 0-2 against Hamilton. Hamilton here he comes with the 2-strike pitch. It misses upstairs, and the count is now 1-2. After Snopel in the order, it's the pitcher, Morgan Austin. 4-3 our score in the top of the 4th inning. Falcons lead. Here is a high fly ball to the right side in foul territory. It will wind up out of play, and the count remains 1-2. Continue to talk about Coach Campbell. He's, again, 20th season, just wrapped up his 20th season with Crater. In his 20 seasons, he's put together 14 winning seasons. 3 of those losing seasons came right after the COVID pandemic as well. You kind of get a pass for those. As here's a bouncing ball out towards shortstop. Shively up with it cleanly. The throw to first is clean, and that'll do it here in the top of the 4th inning. The Comets down in order, and we go to the bottom half next in a 4-3 ball game that the Falcons lead on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been away forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place that feels as good as home. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Bottom of the 4th inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons lead the Central Point Comets 4-3. It'll be 8-9-1 due up this half inning for Klamath Falls. That's Carson Sims, then Ryan Douglas, then Max Price as they go to work against Morgan Austin, still out there for Central Point. Falcons scored 2 runs in the first. They added 2 more in the third. I think the Falcons wish they could have come away with more in the 3rd inning. They loaded up the bases with nobody out, but a double play keyed by the right fielder for Central Point, Michael Villarreal, really put a damper on the momentum that the Falcons had in the 3rd inning. They're looking to find some more of it here in the 4th as Carson Sims takes a pitch outside for ball 1. Here's the delivery on the way to Sims. That one finds the zone. Outside to the right-handed hitter, right around the knees, and he's even in the count. Sims flew out to right field in the 2nd inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch to him, and he takes it for a ball, 2-1. Sims, the team's leading hitter, coming into play today is the number 8 hole. He is batting .450 on the summer. Here's the pitch from Austin. Sims watches that one miss away. The count is 3-1. And while Sims hits the ball well, he doesn't always have the patience to work a walk. He's only walked 9 times this year. 3-1 pitch will be called a strike, and the count runs full. Typically, a guy who's going to put a ball in play, along with those 9 walks, he only's got 9 strikeouts, too, in his 111 at-bats. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Sims. It's poked out towards second, putting it in play, but this time Snopel is able to make the play for the first out. It'll bring up Ryan Douglas, who is 0 for 1 today. Douglas popped out in the infield in his only other at-bat thus far. Was gloved by Snopel to end the second inning. But now Douglas tasked with trying to get a rally started. Here's the pitch. First pitch swing in is hit to center field, right to Nose, and he puts it away for the second out. Back to the top of the order now for the Falcons. It's Max Price here in the bottom of the fourth, a game in which Klamath Falls leads 4-3. Price is 2 for 2 today with a couple of singles to straightaway center field. He's also scored 2 runs. The middle infield for Central Point shaded towards the middle of the infield. There's gaps on the right and left side, but the shortstop Cornett and the second baseman Snopel cheating over a little bit, trying to play the tendencies for Max, who hits it right back up the middle more often than not. The 0-2 pitch is a ground ball towards second base, and it's through into right field. Had Snopel been there, probably would have been making the play, but this time Price just hit him where they ain't and gets on base with a 2-out single. It'll bring up Connor Shively for the Klamath Falls Falcons with a runner on first and 2 gone. Shively is 1 for 1 in the contest today. Hit a sacrifice in the first inning, but singled and scored in the third. Set is Austin, and the pitch. Shively fouls it straight back, and the count moves to 0-1. Shively's the team's second leading hitter. He bats .409 on the summer, has 43 RBI, and has 8 extra base hits. He is also second on the team in on-base percentage at .467. Here's the 0-1 to Shively as Austin is set with it. Moved over to first. Price is back safely. Austin gets the ball back. Now on the rubber again as Shively settles in. Austin set once more. Takes a look at Price and delivers home. Shively fouls it back again. The count's 0-2. After Shively, it's Jacoby Takini for the Klamath Falls Falcons. The catcher waits on deck. Skyline Conference Coach of the Year, Sean Teeters, giving signs to his batter at the plate, assisted, of course, by Joe Takini and Craig Connor for the Falcons. 0-2 pitch coming up to Shively. Here it is. Fly ball to right center field. The center fielder, Nose, is going to make the call and make the catch to end the fourth inning. One base hit, but the Falcons leave them stranded. They lead 4-3 as we go to the fifth on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Top of the fifth inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons lead the Central Point Comets 4-3 in this elimination contest at the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament at Eagle Point High School. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 in the order for Central Point against Corbin Hamilton. The first pitch is popped up behind home. The count is 0-1. So Morgan Austin will be followed by Alex Johnson and then Zach Harrington in the order for Central Point. Here's the pitch from Hamilton. The 0-1 is dropped in for a strike, moves to 0-2. Austin today is 2 for 2. He singled in the first and doubled in 2 runs in the second inning. Here's the 0-2 to him, and it's a ground ball to third. Safford drops to a knee to field it, but throws on to first in time for the first out in the 5th inning. So with 1 gone, it brings up Alex Johnson. The designated hitter for Central Point today is 1 for 2. Johnson singled in the first, but flew out to left field in the second inning. Here's the pitch from Hamilton. Johnson rattles one foul. The count is 0-1. Alex Johnson, an All-State recipient for Crater High School. He was voted the All-State designated hitter for Crater after the prep spring season. The 0-1 pitch to him is a slider that misses in. The count is even now at a ball and a strike. Zach Harrington is on deck. We've got a youngster with some bubbles out here down behind home plate. The count is 2-1. I wish I could move my camera around a little bit better to show you what he's up to. He's been blowing bubbles all afternoon. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Alex Johnson. It's hit hard towards first, and it skips over the head of Ian Meyer. Hit the cut of the infield grass and went wild on him, and so Johnson reaches on the base hit into right. It brings up Zach Harrington. That makes Johnson 2 for 3 today, by the way, his second single. Here's Harrington, who's 0 for 1. Harrington struck out in the first, but walked in the third. He was left stranded at third in that inning, but now hits with the tying run on base, and he represents the go-ahead run here in the top of the 5th. The pitch is an inside fastball that misses. Must have been inside. The count is 1-0 to Harrington. Harrington will be a junior next year for Central Point, for Crater High School. The 1-0 pitch, he goes off speed, and Hamilton finds the zone. The count even now at a ball and a strike. After Harrington in the Comets order, it's Andy Sweet. Modest lead off of first for Johnson, not much to speak of as Hamilton delivers home and finds the zone on the outside corner, runs the count to a ball and 2 strikes now to Harrington. Hamilton gets the sign in from Tacchini, sets up outside. And the 1-2 is a line drive foul down the right field side. And so we'll do it again. 1-2. Sun starting to set over the left field fence. You might start to see it creep into the field of view on mybasin.com as the temperature drops now to 85 degrees. As that pitch is in the dirt, they're going to say Harrington went around on the check swing, and Hamilton gets him for the second out in the 5th inning. Surprised they didn't ask for help on that call against Harrington. It was kind of tough to tell from up here, but the home plate umpire feeling confident enough to ring him up. And now with 2 outs, it's Andy Sweet. I'm sure Hamilton won't protest it. That pitch is going to miss in. The count is 1-0. Sweet is 0 for 2 today. Reached on a fielder's choice in the first and grounded out in the third. Hamilton with the 1-0 pitch. He checks his swing, but a 2-seam fastball's in the zone. No question about that. The count is 1-1. After Sweet in the order, it's Caleb Cornett. Here's the 1-1 from Hamilton. That one misses in. Sweet had to spin out of the way of it. The count 2 balls and a strike now. Sweet the first baseman, but he can get on the mound and pitch a little bit too if Central Point needs him to. Here's the 2-1. It's hit straight foul. The count is even now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning. The Comets have a runner on first, and they trail by a single run. A score of 4-3 with the Falcons in front. Here's the 2-2 again to Sweet. Ground ball to second. Tacchini up with it, sets his feet and throws in time. And that'll do it in the top of the 5th inning. 1 base hit in the inning for Central Point, but they leave him stranded. And the Falcons lead 4-3 as we go to the bottom of the 5th on 104.3 at 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Bottom of the fifth inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. Our continuing coverage of the Klamath Falls Falcons American Legion baseball season brings us to the Single-A Legion State Tournament. The Falcons lead this elimination contest 4-3 against the Central Point Comets. Jacoby Takini, Colin Takini, and P.J. Safford to lead off the bottom of the fifth inning against Morgan Austin. First pitch to Takini missed outside. The second pitch misses inside, and the catcher is ahead 2-0. Jacoby singled his first at-bat, walked in the third. And the pitch is hit hard to left field and a leadoff base hit for Jacoby. He'll probably settle down at first, but the Falcons have a base runner to start the fifth inning. As Chase Barrett emerges from the dugout, he'll come in as the courtesy runner, as he's done all season long. Barrett has scored a run today after coming in to run for Takini. That was back in the first inning, but he was cut down trying to score in the third. Regardless, after the leadoff hit, it brings up Colin Takini, the cleanup hitter for the Falcons. Colin is 2 for 2 today with 2 RBI. He singled in the first and third innings. Pitch on the way to Colin, takes a breaking ball, rips it down the left field side, foul. The count moves to 0-1 to Colin. Again, P.J. Safford is on deck. Taking a look back at what's happened so far in the state tournament to make this an elimination game for the Klamath Falls Falcons, an opening day win against West Albany. They defeated the Bulldogs 13-0 to advance to the winner's side of the bracket, only to meet the Eugene Ole Athletics. As a move over to check on Barrett, but he's back safely. The count remains 0-1. And another move over there, and again, Barrett back safely. Morgan Austin gets back on the hill, and a third move over to first. Not sure if Austin is really preoccupied with Barrett at first or if they're just trying to catch him leaning. The 0-1 pitch on the way to Takini is popped foul to count 0-2. After that win, again running into Eugene in the second round, this was back on Thursday, an 11-6 loss for the Falcons. Saw them commit 7 errors in that contest. Sent them to an elimination game yesterday against the Columbia Gorge Hustlers. As we are ready again for the 0-2 pitch to Colin Takini. Here it comes. Takini swings and misses at the 0-2 pitch. Down on strikes for the first out in the fifth inning. This will bring up P.J. Safford. Safford is 0 for 1 today. He was hit by a pitch in the first inning. He was hit by a pitch in the third inning, and it drove in a run. Back in the first inning, he grounded out. Apologies for the mix-up there. Safford, though, settles in with 1 out in the inning and a runner aboard at first. His team up by a run, and a move over again to check on Barrett. Throw is a little high, but Barrett is back safely. Just going back to continuing the conversation about the state tournament bracket, Klamath Falls in the elimination game yesterday against Columbia Gorge defeated the Hustlers 16-1 to find themselves here against Central Point. Safford gets hit for the second time today, and he'll gladly take first, advancing Barrett to second, and it brings up Ian Meyer. Meyer is 0 for 2 today. He grounded out in the first, and he flew out in the third. All right, Meyer gets the signs in from Coach Teeters. We'll see if they've got anything going on here with 1 out in the inning. The pitcher, Austin, steps off. Now, Central Point's road to this game is a little bit different than the Falcons. They won their first game 1-0 against the Everett Street Mechanics. Hold that thought. Meyer sends a fly ball deep to left field. That one is over the head of the left fielder, down for extra bases. Barrett will score. They hold Safford at third, but an RBI double for Ian Meyer, and the Falcons lead 5-3. First hit of the day for Ian Meyer. Give him the RBI. That is RBI number 29 on the summer, his 8th double, and the infield comes in for Central Point in this at-bat against Corbin Hamilton. The Falcons now lead by 2 runs. Austin now having to work out of the windup. The pitch to Hamilton, a bouncer to third is foul. The count is 0-1. Central Point in the second round of their state tournament defeated Eagle Point 6-4 before losing last night in extras against Eugene 4-3. Now again, both of these teams facing elimination today as Hamilton slices the 0-1 pitch foul. It's 0-2. Winner advances to play tomorrow against either Eugene or Redmond. If Redmond wins, they'll play Eugene. Well, either way, it looks like they're probably going to play Eugene in the next round anyway. Here's a line drive again to left field. Mobley moving over. This time he leaps to make the catch. But Safford is tagging from third, and he will score. And the Falcons lead 6-3 with 2 gone. Runner remains at second. And that's Ian Meyer. But again, Safford scoring on the play. An RBI sacrifice fly for Corbin Hamilton. He helps his own cause. And that's the second out in this inning. It brings up Carson Sims. So it looks like going to have a courtesy runner come in for Ian Meyer, perhaps. Maybe a pinch runner. We could be gearing up for a pitching change potentially in the next inning. We'll see exactly how that all shakes out as Ryan Glidden is in to run for Ian Meyer at second. And in steps Carson Sims, who's 0 for 2 today with 2 outs in the inning. Pitch to Sims is going to be taken outside 1-0. Want to make an amendment to what I said about tomorrow's games in the state tournament. If Redmond wins, Redmond will play the winner of this game. If Eugene wins, Eugene plays the winner of this game. But then Eugene would have to win twice in games 14 and 15 tomorrow to win the state championship. You'd have to play them twice if they win tonight against Redmond. The 1-0 pitch is called a strike, 1-1. If Redmond wins, they'll play in game 14 tomorrow at 1. That'll be an elimination game where the winner moves on to play Eugene in the championship. Here's a hard fly ball to center field, but Nosei tucks that one away for the third and final out in the 5th inning. But the Falcons add 2, and they do it on 2 base hits. They leave a man stranded, and they lead 6-3 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Time to reclaim your health and your autonomy. At Heartfelt OBGYN, they focus on you. Their evidence-based approach to care means fewer office visits and a targeted treatment plan to directly address your specific needs. They believe in solutions for their patients, not the industry's profit margin. The providers at Heartfelt OBGYN are committed to serving the community and giving back to the basin. Find them at heartfeltobgyn.com. Heartfelt, because you deserve to be in control of your body and your informed choices.
At Eisler Group, they are confident that their tax and accounting professionals are experienced and trained like no one else. From individual, corporate, partnership, estate, trust, Eisler Group stands ready to help you with all of your financial, tax, and accounting needs. They have been in Klamath Falls for nearly 60 years, raising their families here and being part of the community. The Eisler Group can be found at EislerKF.com. That's ISLERKF.com. EislerKF.com.
It's the top of the 6th inning, and the Klamath Falls Falcons lead the Central Point Comets 6-3 in this elimination game at the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament. Corbin Hamilton sticks around in the game for the Falcons as he does the pitching duties. Ian Meyer re-enters the game after being replaced as from a pinch runner in the bottom half of the last inning. Glidden exits the game. Meyer returns. He's at first. No other changes for the Falcons as the first pitch to Caleb Cornett misses outside. The second pitch misses inside, so quickly 2-0 to the number 6 hitter in the order for Central Point, Caleb Cornett. He'll be followed by Michael Villarreal and Oren Ginge moving forward this half inning as Corbin Hamilton misses upstairs, the third straight miss to begin this 6th inning. Cornett today is 0 for 2. He reached on an error in the third, otherwise grounded out in the first, and Hamilton gets across strike one on the two-seam fastball in the zone, and the count 3-1 to Cornett. He will be class of 27 at Crater High School. We've got timeout called by the hitter before Hamilton can proceed with the 3-1 pitch. Now he's ready to go. Here it comes. That one misses high and in, and a leadoff walk. It'll be how we start things in the top of the 6th inning. After walking 4 guys in the first 3 innings, this is Hamilton's first walk in 15 batters. He had found the zone consistently for a while, but missing it there to Cornett. Now has to regather against Michael Villarreal. Here's the pitch. That one misses in, nearly hit him, but he twists out of the way. The count is 1-0. Jacoby Tacchini going to come out and have a chat with him. It gives us an opportunity to remind you that today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. They know that picking the right path can make the journey easier, the distance shorter, and can assure that you end up at the right place. Whether you're dreaming of owning a home or you just want a great checking account, Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union can help you reach your goals. So now after Jacoby comes out and talks with Corbin Hamilton, Craig Connor comes out of the dugout and will take the ball from Corbin. So we'll go ahead and take a full 60-second break as the Falcons have a new pitcher with a runner on in the top of the 6th inning. We'll be back in just a moment on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
We drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
New pitcher in for the Klamath Falls Falcons will be Colin Tacchini. And he will take over for Corbin Hamilton, who exits the game. The only other changes for the Falcons, Carson Pimley comes into the game. He'll play right field. Carson Sims, the former right fielder, moves over to center field. Former center fielder Max Price will replace Tacchini at second base. And as we take a look at what Colin has done so far this summer, this is his 12th appearance, his 3rd in relief. He's pitched 47 in a 3rd inning. He's giving up 51 hits, 28 runs, although only 19 of them earned. He's walked 12 and struck out 47 batters. Carries a 5-1 record and an ERA of 2.81. He'll inherit a 1-0 count against Michael Villarreal. He'll also inherit a runner on first. That's Caleb Cornett after Hamilton walked the leadoff hitter and fell behind of this hitter in this order. So Colin Tacchini will have a tough way to get out of this top of the 6th inning, but his team leads by 3, so a little bit of a cushion as he gets ready to deliver to Villarreal. The pitch is a firm fastball called a strike, 1-1. Colin back on the hill, ready to deliver the pitch. Here it comes. Misses upstairs. The count now 2-1. Colin got the start in the Falcons' extra inning wins against Central Point at Kiger Stadium on June 15th. He pitched 6 2/3 innings against the Comets, giving up 7 hits and 4 runs, where he walked 2 and struck out 3. Now it's a 3-1 count to Villarreal. Takini also got the start in the third meeting between these two teams this summer, going 6 1/3, 8 hits, 3 earned runs, and 4 strikeouts. Here, a walk to Michael Villarreal will bring the tying run to the plate in the person of Orangage. Cornett to second, Villarreal aboard at first. And Orangage, who's 0 for 2, will step in now. He grounded out in the second, flew out in the fourth. Corners come in for Klamath Falls, middle infield ready to turn 2. We'll see if this is a bunt situation or if they try to get the tying run on base in the top of the 6th inning. Takini comes set. First pitch, a fastball on the outside corner. Gets ahead of the catcher for Central Point, 0-1. On deck is Carson Nose for the Comets. Colin Takini set again. And the 0-1 pitch. This one's a ground ball to short. Shively going to go to first and get the sure thing, but both men advance. Cornett to third, Villarreal to second, and there's one gone in the inning. Carson Nose is 0 for 1 today. Nose walked in the second inning. He would come around to score. Otherwise, he grounded out in the fourth. But he represents the tying run here in the top of the 6th inning with 2 men in scoring position and just 1 out. Standing at third is Cornett, Villarreal at second. Colin Takini on the hill and delivers the pitch. Drops in a beautiful curveball for strike 1. Lineup card turns over next for Central Point with Mason Snopel on deck. Takini comes together. And here's the 0-1. It's waved at and missed by Nose. The outside breaking ball caused him to chase, and now Takini in the driver's seat ahead 0-2. Modest leadoff of second for Villarreal, but you really worry about the runner at third, Cornett. Takini set with the 0-2 to Nose. And the pitch. Curveball fouled off. Nose has seen that breaking ball now 3 straight times. That time he got a piece of it. Starting to time it up a little bit better. We'll see where Colin goes now. Still ahead in the count, 0-2. Nose settles back into the right-handed batter's box, holds the bat in front of him with his left hand, swings it around, and now grips it with both. Here's the 0-2. Curveball misses upstairs. Didn't break enough. And the count is 1-2. Again, Nose waits the pitch. Takini sets up outside. Here's the pitch from Colin. It is popped up into the air, shallow right field. Over is Pimley, and he makes the catch. Tagging from third is Cornett. He will score. The throw to try to get Villarreal going to third is not going to be in time. A sacrifice fly and an RBI makes it 6-4. Falcons still lead, but now there's 2 outs and a runner at third for the top of the order and Mason Snopel. Snopel is 0 for 1 today. After walking in each of his first 2 at-bats, he grounded out in the fourth. The runner at third is Villarreal. 1 run already home this inning for Central Point. They trail the Falcons by 2 runs in the top of the 6th. The pitch from Takini will miss upstairs. The count is 1-0. After Snopel in the order, it's Morgan Austin for the Comets. Colin looks in, is agreeable with the sign delivered by his catcher and cousin, Jacoby Takini. The 1-0. Flared out foul the opposite way. The count is even at 1. Snopel trying to do it again to the Klamath Falls Falcons. He's been dangerous against this squad all year. Central Point beat the Falcons in 3 out of the 4 regular season meetings. Here in the state tournament, they lead by 2 runs. Klamath Falls does. But the tying run is at the plate in Mason Snopel, and he's ahead in the count right now, 2-1. Colin Takini comes set. Here it is, the 2-1 pitch. Line drive, right field base hit, and an RBI single for Mason Snopel. Makes it 6-5. Central Point trails, but they've got the tying run on base for Morgan Austin. This team, more than anybody I've seen this year at the American Legion level, is fantastic in the late innings, and I'm talking about Central Point. They've rallied against the Falcons on multiple occasions. They've rallied in this tournament on multiple occasions in the late going. Colin Tacchini delivers the pitch home. It's called a strike to Morgan Austin. The count is 0-1. Tacchini looks in against Austin once more. Take you back to that game against the Everett Street Mechanics, the first game of this tournament, which was a 1-0 win for Central Point. But, caught stealing is Mason Snopel. Jacoby Tacchini gunned him down. We'll have to wait to continue that thought about Central Point as the Falcons carry a 1-run lead to the bottom of the 6th inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
Getting set in the bottom of the 6th inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. Our coverage of the Klamath Falls Falcons brought to you in part by Gino's Cafe and Sports Bar on East Main Street. Open 6:30 every morning, serving their famous breakfast burritos. They also serve burgers. They've got their monthly specials and their Italian favorites. You can order online or have it brought right to you on DoorDash. The Falcons lead 6-5 against the Central Point Comets in the bottom of the 6th inning of this elimination contest. Hitting for the Falcons this half inning, it's going to be Max Price, followed by Connor Shively and Jacoby Tacchini. That pitch is ripped foul. The count is 1-1. That pitch to Price, fouled off. The count is 1-2. Price today 3 for 3. He singled in the 1st, 3rd, and 4th innings. Count remains 1-2 to him now. Here's the delivery from Morgan Austin. Still working in his start. This pitch popped up out of play to the right side. Count remains 1-2. Want to again say thank you to all of you joining us, whether you're listening on the radio on 104.3 FM and 960 AM in Klamath Falls or watching our live video stream on MyBasin.com. I believe we're reaching near record viewers for today's broadcast. So again, big thanks to all of you who are joining us today and who've shared around our link this weekend. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Max Price. Pops it out of play, foul. Again, the count remains 1-2. Would have loved to have been able to broadcast every game of this tournament this year, but just wasn't in the cards. But again, thank you anyway for following our broadcast of the Falcons on MyBasin.com. The 1-2 again kicks foul. And we'll do it again for Max Price. Again, Shively's on deck, then Jacoby Tacchini to the top of the order for the Falcons as they look to add a little bit of a cushion. Only up 1 run. It's not a safe lead heading into the 7th. The Falcons know that to be true. Here's the 1-2. Ground ball back up the middle. The shortstop, Cornett, comes up with it. The throw to first is in time. And a good play by Cornett, ranging over towards the second base bag as the shortstop picked it up off the ground and threw well to first. 1 gone in the Falcons' 6th. So now Connor Shively gets a chance to swing the bat for K Falls. He is 1 for 2 today. He singled in the 3rd, flew out in the 4th. Otherwise had a sacrifice fly. That was in the 1st inning. Fouls off the first pitch he sees here. The count is 0-1. Again, winner here will either play Redmond or Eugene on Championship Sunday, with the hopes of playing Eugene at some point. They've already booked their ticket to play for a state championship. Whether they've got to win twice or whether they've got to just win, whether they've got to play twice or just play once is still up in the air for the Ole Athletics tomorrow. Shively, a bouncer to third, under the glove of Harrington and into left. Shively's going to reach on an error here in the 6th inning, and it will bring up Jacoby Takini. So again, with Redmond and Eugene playing later today, if Redmond is able to defeat the Ole Athletics, they will play in game 14. Redmond will. That'll be an elimination game against the winner of this contest, with the winner of the elimination game tomorrow playing Eugene for the state championship. If Eugene beats Redmond tonight, whoever wins this game would have to beat the Ole's twice tomorrow for a state championship themselves, being that Eugene has yet to lose a game in that specific scenario. Here's the pitch to Takini. It misses outside. The count is 1-0. Jacoby today's 2 for 2. Singled in the 1st and 5th innings. He also walked in the 3rd. Chase Barrett has come into courtesy run for him each time, and he has scored 2 runs today. The 1-0 pitch on the way to Jacoby is hit into the air. Looks like playable in the infield. Snopel hardly has to move from his pre-pitch positioning to set that one away for the second out in the 6th inning. And this brings up Colin Takini. Started as the second baseman, has since taken over pitching duties for the Falcons. He's 2 for 3 today. Had RBI singles in the 1st and 3rd innings, but struck out in his most recent at-bat. That was in the 5th. Insurance stands at first in the person of Connor Shively. He takes off. The first pitch called a strike. The throw down to get Shively's not going to be in time, and Connor swipes second, now into scoring position with 2 gone. Again, that pitch was called a strike to Colin Takini, so he'll have to defend the plate a little bit more. Can still afford to look for one pitch that he likes. Down 0-1. As the runner at second, Shively, takes an extra step. Now heads back a little bit to second as the pitcher, Austin, steps off. Now Austin ready to go and comes set. Here's the delivery home. It is a line drive to the shortstop, caught by Cornett, and that'll do it in the bottom of the 6th inning. To the 7th we go. The Falcons have a 1-run lead, and they'll look to advance to Championship Sunday next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Set now for the top of the 7th inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons lead the Central Point Comets 6-5 in this elimination contest. In the last chance for Central Point, it'll be 2, 3, and 4 in their order. Morgan Austin, Alex Johnson, and Zach Harrington against Colin Takini. Takini comes in relief of Corbin Hamilton. We'll be able to close the book here on Corbin, and we'll give you the final line score on him in just a moment as Colin gets ready to deliver the first pitch to Morgan Austin. It's going to skip in the plate. The count is 1-0. Austin is 2 for 3 today. He reached on a single in the 1st, a double in the 2nd, and grounded out in the 5th. But his double in the 2nd inning also pitted him 2 RBIs. The 1-0 pitch is going to miss as well. The count is 2-0. Hamilton exited the game earlier today after pitching 5 complete innings, giving up 4 hits and 4 runs while walking 5 and striking out 2. It's up to Tacchini to try and slam the door. The pitch to him misses inside. The count is 3-0. Morgan Austin, some sort of Soto shuffle out of the right-handed batter's box as we await the 3-0 pitch. And that'll be strike 1. Thought it was ball 4, but he'll have to head on back. He's making a show in the right-handed batter's box is Morgan Austin as the count is 3-1. Here's the pitch from Tacchini. That one is going to miss, and the tying run is on base in the person of Morgan Austin, and it brings up Alex Johnson. See how creative Central Point gets on the base paths here in the 7th inning. Do you risk sending Austin against Colin Tacchini, who's cut down multiple runners today? Do you go hit and run, or do you just play it straight away? Here's the pitch to Johnson. It's a high fastball, I think sort of worked as a pitch out to see if they were going to send Austin, but he stays at first. And the count is 1-0 to Alex Johnson, who's 2 for 3 today, singled in the 1st and 5th innings. Pitch from Tacchini finds the outside corner. The count's even at 1. After Johnson, it's Zach Harrington in the order for Central Point. Move over to first. Tag applied by Meyer, but not in time. Austin is back safely, quickly gets up to retake his lead over there at first. It's about 3.5 steps off the bag as Tacchini comes set. The 1-1 pitch is ripped foul, and the count is 1-2 to the Central Point designated hitter, Alex Johnson. Again, the All-State recipient for the Crater Comets bats here as he represents the go-ahead run at the plate. The pitch from Tacchini is hit into the air, center field, base hit. Tying run in scoring position is Morgan Austin, and it brings up Zach Harrington. Still nobody out in the inning. Ball comes in from the outfield. Timeout is called by the home plate umpire. We're going to have a courtesy runner. It looks like Jaden Mobley is going to be running at first for the designated hitter, Johnson. So Mobley at first. Johnson was who he designated hit for, or pinch ran for. I want to make sure. Morgan Austin at second, Jaden Mobley at first. Zach Harrington having a conversation with his third base coach ahead of the situation where you've got the tying and go-ahead runs on base in the top of the 7th inning of an elimination game. Our score is 6-5, but that could change on one swing of the bat as Colin Tacchini comes set with the first offering to Zach Harrington. He's showing bunt. It is a strike as Harrington couldn't pull back the bunt in time. The count is 0-1. Corners come in for Klamath Falls protecting the bunt. Shively will cover third on a bunt. Price will cover first on a bunt. That leaves no one to cover second base if need be, although unlikely that they would need that. The 0-1 is called strike 2. Harrington took that pitch, and now things change for Central Point. Harrington going to likely swing away in a 2-strike count with 2 men on. Colin Tacchini, who's been in high leverage spots all summer long, gets the sign in from Jacoby. Waits before coming set, now is together. Harrington showing bunt with 2 strikes. He is unable to lay it down. Harrington down on strikes for the first out in the 7th inning. Rare do you see a bunt kept on with 2 strikes, and Harrington coming up empty. It brings up Andy Sweet with 1 gone and still 2 runners on. Sweet is 0 for 3 today. He reached on a fielder's choice in the first, but has since grounded out twice. Double play is in order for the Falcons infield, so the middle infield ready for that possibility. Here's the pitch from Tacchini, a ground ball to Colin. He's going to come up with it, take the easy route to first, but both men advance. Austin to third, he's the tying run. Go-ahead run to second. There are 2 gone for Caleb Cornett, and you couldn't write this any better if you tried. Caleb Cornett has had some success against the Klamath Falls Falcons so far this summer. Cornett Had a couple of base hits in the nightcap the first time these two teams met. Now trying to come up with a huge hit. He's the Central Point Comets' last hope for the season. Hits one into the air to the left side in foul territory. Safford will be unable. No, he does make the catch. He lost his hat, but the ball game is over. And the Klamath Falls Falcons defeat the Central Point Comets and survive in the Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament, and they will play on Championship Sunday. For the Comets, the road ends here in a 6-5 final for the Klamath Falls Falcons. We'll be back to recap it for you here in just a moment on 104.3 and 960 Sports with live free video on mybasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, the retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
Final score, and the Klamath Falls Falcons advance in the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament after defeating their league rival, the Central Point Comets, in a 6-5 final. The Falcons scoring their 6 runs on 9 hits, committing 2 errors and leaving 6 runners on base. The Central Point Comets scoring their 5 runs on 6 hits, committing 2 errors, and they leave 7 runners on base. The winning pitcher today is Corbin Hamilton. Hamilton pitched 5 innings, giving up 4 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned. He walked 5 and struck out 2. Colin Tacchini earns the save today for the Falcons, pitching the final 2 innings, giving up 2 hits and a run, walking 2 and striking out 1. The loss today goes to Morgan Austin. Pitched a complete game for Central Point in 6 innings. He gave up 8 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned, and he struck out 2. Pacific Power play of the day today. I am going to give it to the RBI double from Ian Meyer in the 5th inning, which helped the Falcons not only tie the game, but take the lead in the late going, and the Falcons hold on to win 6-5. As we look at some other notables for the Falcons today, Max Price finished 3 for 4 with 2 runs scored. Connor Shively was 1 for 3 with a run scored. Jacoby Tacchini finished 2 for 3, had a walk mixed in there as well. Colin Tacchini was 3 for 4. Pardon me. He was 1 for 4 with 3 RBI. P.J. Safford had an RBI on a sacrifice, along with Ian Meyer having that double and the RBI. For Central Point, some offensive notables for them. Morgan Austin was 2 for 3 with 2 RBI. He was really the lone standout today for the Comets, whose season ends here today at the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament. The Falcons' next opponent is yet to be decided. At 8 o'clock tonight, Redmond takes on Eugene. Now, Eugene will play tomorrow. There's no question. Whether or not they have to play in the first game tomorrow depends on whether or not they can win today against Redmond. If they defeat the SunWest Builders. They will play and only needing to win once tomorrow against the Falcons, whereas the Falcons would, of course, have to win twice. Now, if Redmond defeats Eugene, Redmond will face the Falcons in Game 14 tomorrow at 1 in an elimination game, where the winner of that contest advanced to play Eugene in the championship game at 4 o'clock on Sunday. So a couple of possibilities yet to be decided, but here's what we do know. The Falcons live to play another day as they defeat their league rival, the Central Point Comets, 6-5. Want to thank everybody involved with making today's broadcast possible, both head coaches, Sean Teeters and Jay Campbell for the Falcons and the Comets, respectively. Also, our official scorer, Mike Safford, will make sure the box scores and everything are all accurate. What I've given you here today are unofficial line scores for everybody, but be sure to stay on mybasin.com, and big thanks to Mike for straightening us out, and Dave Earnhardt, the public address announcer here at Eagle Point High School. Always want to give a shout to the PA guy, and Dave Earnhardt is one of the nicest guys around when it comes to sports here in Southern Oregon. So big thanks to him, and big thanks to you for sticking around for another broadcast of Klamath Falls Falcons baseball. We'll see you again tomorrow as the Falcons face elimination en route to what they hope to be a 2025 Oregon State Championship. Back again tomorrow at 1. Opponent to be decided. Until then, though, thank you again for joining us today on mybasin.com. My name is Josh Eldridge. Have a great rest of your Saturday afternoon. And so long from the yard at Eagle Point High School.